everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I am doing my December 2023 reading wrap-up. Yes, finally. So I got sick the last week after Christmas, like the day after Christmas I got sick. Couldn't film anything. That week I was supposed to film my reading journal setup for January, my TBR game, and then last week was supposed to be my December wrap-up. But I have honestly seen so many people not have their reading wrap-ups until like the second week of December, so we're not late to the party. We're not late. We're still there. We're still in the midst of the party, so we're not late. It's not midnight. We're not going home, so I have my reading journal. I actually had to literally dig to where I put this because I forgot where I put it for a second. Because it's done. It's done. My reading journal is done. And I will have a flip through of this. I will probably be filming that tomorrow. Yeah, probably. I don't know which video you'll see first, but there will be a flip through of this. There are two books that I marked off here, but I haven't read yet. I just wanted to make sure I marked them off because I am planning on reading them still. Just haven't been done yet. Anyways, so our last month of the year. Here we go. Okay, so I actually do not read that many books. So this is actually probably my lowest month. As I said, I got sick. So when I'm sick, I do not read at all. Like, I struggled. I think I read one book I had to read for a review, and that was about it. When I'm sick, I watch TV and play games on my phone, and it was nice to, honestly, because I haven't watched much TV lately because I've been reading. So it was nice just to relax and watch TV. So I have my reading journal, and so I read 16 books. So I would say that's not super low. That's still actually pretty high, although I didn't get sick until the last week. So the first 3 weeks I read a lot, but I mean that's actually pretty good for being sick and all. So yeah, that actually could be about average. I read between 15 and 20 books a month, so actually it wasn't as low as I thought it was. So I read, let's see, I read a couple Archie comic books too. They're just not on here, but I did read a few of those. I always do every month. I don't record them. I record them on Goodreads, but like I don't record them in my reading journal. I would have no room. But yeah, so I read like maybe 3 or 4 of those. And then I read one manga book. I read one middle grade, one YA. And I read 4 cozy mysteries. And I read 1 nonfiction this month. Very rarely read those. And then I read 8 Christian fiction. So we'll go through my non-Christian fiction first and then my Christian fiction after. So let's see. As far as star ratings go, I had really good ratings actually in December. I think I was just probably really sick and I was like handing out higher ratings than usual. But I had, let's see, 2 3-stars, 2 3.5s. I had 7, 8, no, it's like 9 4-stars. Yeah, it's like 9 4-stars. 1 4.5 and 1 5-star. So 2 5-stars. 5-stars weren't that great. Usually I have more than that, but that's okay. No DNS in December. Go me. At least I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Okay, so the first one was I read a manga book. I read The Spy Family Volume 10. Finally got that on hold. The wait was crazy again. I gave it 3 stars. It was just okay. Thankfully, this one was a bit more on the clean side than the other ones have been. This one we're following the main male character, which I can't remember his name right now. Wait, Forger. That's his name, Forger. But we're following him as a little kid growing up and how he got into the Secret Service. So it's kind of interesting in that aspect. I really like that part. And then that was pretty much the majority of the plot line. And then we're following his wife in the modern timeline and how she's kind of becoming friends with the enemies or Forger's mission, his wife. So they're kind of getting friendly and they meet supposedly accidentally at the mall. We don't know yet. But yeah, so it was okay and I'm still gonna read it just as long as like there's been language here and there and the violence was a little intense during one or two books. But overall, it's a meh series for me. The first one or two books I loved, and then it's just kind of been meh the rest of the time. But as long as like I'm not giving a book a 1 star, I'll probably still read it. All right, so the next one that I read was a middle grade classic, and that was Anne of Avonlea, which I do actually have a copy of that. I just realized I had my Christmas garland still up, so we got rid of that before we forgot. Anyway, so Anne of Avonlea, which was actually really hard to get out of because it wasn't a box set, but Anne of Avonlea, which these covers are so cute. I mean, let's just appreciate the cover really quick. Isn't it cute? But yeah, so I love these covers. But anyways, I read Anne of Avonlea with my friend T. I will link her channel down below. We have just been having such a ball reading this together, honestly. She is such a fun buddy reader. She actually finished the 3rd book. I still haven't even started it yet, but I hope to finish it by the end of Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. But we are going to be reading the entire series together. We're doing 1 a month just to kind of give us a break. You know, just relax, take our time with the whole series. But last month we read Anne of Avonlea, and I gave this one 4.5 stars. So first one was 5 stars, 4.5 for the second one. So in this one, we're following Anne as she's a little bit older now, kind of mid-teen, like between 16 or 15 and 16, I think. But she has just gotten her new teaching job at the school that she actually went to before she graduated. And so we're following her kind of integrating herself more with the characters of the town and stuff. And what I really liked about this was there's a character in this book named, I think her name's Lavender, I think. But she's just this really sweet older woman. And she kind of has gone a little bit off the rails a little bit. She was in love with this man growing up, and he ended up, I don't know what happened. I think they had an argument or something, or her parents didn't approve, and he ended up marrying someone else. His wife passed away, and I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just their ending of the story was just like so great. And honestly, like that was probably my favorite part of the whole story. But just Anne integrating herself into people's lives, like not even being shy about it, you know, she'll just integrate herself into people's lives. And I love her spunk and her personality. And yeah, so if I read Anne of Green Gables, I only read Anne of Green Gables, and I never continued the series. So I'm really happy that we're buddy reading this together. It was easier to put that book away than take it out. Okay, so the next book that I read was a YA book that I am buddy reading the series with my friend Celestia. And thankfully, we're pretty close to being on track together finally again. We're actually almost done with the last book in the series, and that is the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. We finished reading Cytonic last month, and I gave it 3.5 stars. It definitely, I feel like I went with the crowd. I feel like the 3rd book was probably my least favorite of the series. It was okay, but I just felt like there wasn't, I don't know, like there just wasn't anything going on. Like we see like, I don't know, I can't explain it. It wasn't as action-packed as the other stories were, I felt. And I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil anything, but if you don't know about it, it is a secular series, but there's really no swearing. There might be like 1 or 2 words in the entire series. If they do swear, most of the time it's a made-up word, so you don't even know what it is. Which honestly, I actually prefer that. Like if you're gonna swear in a fantasy book, at least make up your own word. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what it means. But yeah, so there was 1 word that was like used as a swear word, but we don't know what it is. But the rest of it was like, it's a clean series. It's fun, it's entertaining. I just kind of struggled reading this because, as I said, again, I was sick in the last week. So yeah, the ratings could probably be due to that a little bit at the end of the month if I read these at the end of the month. But yeah, so it was good. As a whole series, I still really like the first one the best. I was gushing over it so much. I'm reading the 4th one, and the 4th one's pretty good so far. I actually finished all 3 novellas. My friend Celestia hasn't yet, but read the novellas actually. There's stuff in the books between 2 and 3-ish where you don't get information about in the original series. So the novellas kind of get that information, and I'll talk about it at the end of my January wrap up because I read them in January. All right, the next book that I read the entire series, which honestly, I gave them all 4 stars. But I don't know, thinking back, I just really enjoyed these a lot, and they could be closer to 5 stars for me. But I read the entire Christmas Tree mystery series. It's a cozy mystery series by Jacqueline Frost. So if you're looking for a cozy mystery series, it's completely clean. There's no love scenes in it. There's barely even any kissing, if any at all. And there's no swearing in it. And I just loved the series so much. It was a great cozy mystery series. And I gotta tell you, the punny titles, just the puns in the titles were just really great. So they all go with like Christmas songs or that type of thing. So the first one is 12 Sleighs of Christmas, 'Twas the Knife Before Christmas, Slashing Through the Snow, and Stalking Around the Christmas Tree. So yeah, pretty gruesome titles, but the stories themselves were not that gruesome. Yes, there was a murder mystery. I think honestly the only reason I gave it 4 stars was because the small little town. It's supposed to be a small little town. Yet every single Christmas, it's not even another day, well, during the holiday season, every single Christmas, a murder happens. I mean, seriously, in a small town, what are the chances 4 years in a row a murder happens? That's the only reason I gave these 5 stars. Or 4 stars instead of 5 stars. But other than that, they were cute, they were fun. There was a little bit of romance, but it was, I wouldn't say a minor plot because it was part of the main character's life, but I really liked it. And if you like cozy mysteries, I feel like you really enjoyed this series. I thought it was fun, entertaining, and just a very light read for the winter season. And yeah, they were fun. So yeah, it's all about a girl whose family owns a Christmas tree farm, and they have, like, I think they call them the reindeer games or something like that, but they have games every year that they do to celebrate Christmas. So tourists come, play games, they win prizes. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, I would go if there was a town like that. I seriously would. But yeah, so it was very fun, and then we got a murder mystery happening in each book, and I think there's only going to be just the 4 books. I don't think there's any more. If there is, but I don't think there is, because I think the last one came out this year or the year before. So yeah, it was very cute though, and I highly recommend it if you like cozy mysteries. Okay, let's go on to my one nonfiction this month, and that was, if I can read my printable, Good News of Great Joy. It was a daily devotional by John Piper. It's a very dark cover, so it's kind of hard to read. But so I read this one. I read it probably in like 12 days, or maybe a little less than that, because it was a review book. I have a review for it on my channel. I'll link all my review videos down below that I did throughout the month. But I did like it. I think I gave it. My rating is right here. Just look down, silly. I gave it 4 stars. It was good. I just definitely want to take it slower next year and read 1 a day if I remember to during the Christmas season. Actually, I have my copy up here somewhere. So this is the one that I read, and I did really enjoy it. It was actually very nice and short, maybe about 2 pages each day. So it was nice and short. It had a Bible verse on the first page, and then a little bit about the verse, quite a bit about, like, of course, God's salvation in this story, and how it's important to remember that salvation in our lives. And it was good. I gave 4 stars. And yes, I would like to try either to read this one again or maybe another one next year. I really haven't read anything for Advent, but I'd like to try. All right, so Christian fiction. So I gave 1 3 stars this month. That was Calling on the Matchmaker by Jody Hedlund. This is the first book in her new series. This is my first Jody Hedlund book. I never read anything by her. It was okay, but I really couldn't connect with the characters, and I definitely could tell from this book this is definitely more Catholic fiction than Christian fiction. Just so you know before you get into it, that really didn't bother me that much. But just so you know, because like you could tell by the writing style and stuff, and the way the characters acted. But I really did like, and why I gave it 3 stars was I love the matchmaker in it. I just thought he was great, and the way he set up the main characters I thought was funny, and the setup to the second book. I'm really excited to see the second book because the ending of the first book kind of sets you up for who's going to be matched up in the second book. Well, it tells you the guy, but I think I know who the girl's going to be. But yeah, so I am actually going to read the second book, and I hope I like it. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, it's a Matchmaker historical fiction about this girl. She wants to become a nun because something happened in her past. So she pretty much finds all of these different ways to get the men that her parents have matched her up with away from her. And so there's finally this one guy that's like, why is she doing all these things? And he's figuring it out along the way. And so it was sweet, and I am going to continue the series. I hope I like it. But yeah, it was only between 2.5 and 3 stars for me. It was okay, but I know other people have enjoyed it. So it was just my personal opinion. I just didn't connect with the characters that much. Hopefully I will next time. All right, the next book I read was The Secrets Beneath by Kimberley Woodhouse. So I read this one, Secrets Beneath, and I give this one 4 stars. It's between 3.5 and 4 stars, but I really did enjoy this one. This is the first book in Treasures of the Earth, and I had to read this one because it had to do with paleontology and dinosaurs, and I love dinosaurs and paleontology, so like, it's not a job that I would do because I really don't like to study science and math in school, but I did take a paleontology class in high school, so there's that. But yeah, so I did enjoy this one. It has a really good mystery to it. I did guess what was going on with the main character, or the main kind of bad thing that was going on. I did guess what was happening, but it was still really good because I was like, yes, I'm right. I knew it. But yeah, so really good. There is a romance in here, but we're following a girl named Anna, and I do have a whole review of this, so this will be short. But we're following a girl named Anna who is working with her father, who's a paleontologist. And back then, girls really didn't get involved in that type of field, so she's got that problem. But her dad ends up injured, and he's healing in bed, so she has to take over the dig because they found dinosaur bones on this guy's land after a huge storm. And so we're following her trying to get into that field with all the, you know, the hypocrites back then saying women can't do it. But then we're following our main male character, who he's away at college to be a doctor, and they had a spat before he went off, and she never got over it. He wrote her letters every week but never sent them, so like they were kind of just both kind of having problems. But they get back together. They still kind of struggled throughout the book, but I did like the way it ended, and I'm excited to pick up the second book. And then I read Julie Klassen's newest book in On Devonshire Shores. This is A Winter by the Sea, and I did enjoy this one. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was good, but again, I just really didn't connect with the characters because, again, I read this when I was sick. So yeah, I don't connect very well with stories when I'm sick, but I did still enjoy it. This is about the middle. I think she's the middle child. Oh no, I just realized she's a twin. So, well, she's still the second oldest, but she's part of the twin that was in the first book. And so we're following Emily. And in this book, we're following the Duke of Kent and his wife and daughter, who have moved in next door to their inn. And some of the guests come over, or some of the staff come over and live at their inn. And so we're following kind of meeting the royal family, a little bit of a suspense aspect, not too much, and some romance going on possibly with one of the staff and Emily. So yeah, there also could be a little bit of a love triangle, but I didn't like the one guy anyway, so I'm like, just boot him out of the story, please, because I did not like him. But yeah, so I can't wait to read the third book. The first book was 100% 5 stars, and I loved it. This one was just, it was okay, but again, probably because I was sick, I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. So I couldn't find the one book. I thought for some reason I got rid of it. I'm like, where'd it go? But I did find it. So the next one I read was A Crown of Chains by Erin Phillips. Really enjoyed this one, but if you saw my reading vlog, I did read this in a reading vlog. I'll share it down below. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the storytelling. I loved the setting. I loved that it was a Esther retelling, fantasy retelling. It was good in that aspect. I loved it, but it is very heavy on the physical stuff. So I would highly recommend this for only upper YA to adult age, not younger YA, only because of that. I don't normally do that. Like, I would honestly recommend any of the romance books that I read for a young teen, you know, getting into that romance genre, but this one I would wait a little while on, or be prepared to talk, because there was talk about harming young girls, because we are following the king who has a harem full of women. And so you don't see the physical acts, but it is talked about quite a bit in this book. So I would be aware of that. It is a Christian fiction book, so like you're not going to get too physical, but just be aware of that. And it also has like the emotional backlash from those acts of the king, and you're seeing that with the girls and how they're reacting to when that happens. So just be aware as you read this. It was very good. It was a very intense read, but I did enjoy it. That's why I'm keeping it on my shelves. But definitely when I have children, they're not reading this until they're like 18. So, but yeah, so I mean maybe 16, but like we would have to like buddy read it and talk about it, because there are definitely some topics in here that are quite talked about. Let's just put it that way. So in this book, we're following, again, as I said, this is a Esther retelling, and we're following, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Roxana. And she's a wingless fairy, and so nobody knows that she's a fairy. So it's kind of like Esther, you know, it doesn't really say in the Bible, but like she had to actually tell the king that she was Jewish. So she must not have, I don't know if she didn't look Jewish or they really didn't know the difference back then or something. But we're following her. She's a wingless fairy, so nobody knows that she's a fairy. And so she has different aspects where she is able to, she has different abilities, which I don't think I can tell you because it's not in the back, but different things. And I did not like the king. I gotta say, I really wish he had a better redeeming story at the end. He had a little bit. I just wanted more. I wanted more. Anyways, but yeah, so we're following her as she is picked as one of, obviously, the women to go and see if she'll be picked as queen to the king, because he exiled his wife for, you know, the same reasons that she was exiled in the Bible. But yeah, so we're following her and her story, and yeah, how he's picking the brides and stuff through his harem. So yeah. But I did like her character and how strong she was throughout the entire thing. How she was a comfort to the other woman, even though she was struggling through the same things. And so yeah, so it was good. It was just very, a lot of things going on in the book. And then I read Knowing You by Tracie Peterson. So I gave this one 5 stars, but I think it's closer to maybe 4.5. But I did really enjoy it. The whole series is probably my new favorite by her. I just really enjoy her historical romance. She's probably my favorite, probably my favorite historical romance author. I just love her to pieces, and yeah, she's great. And yeah, I love Aunt Tracie Peterson. I did say aunt. She's not really an aunt, but she's adopted, and I just love her so much. So yeah, so she knows she's adopted. Just so you know, I don't just call her Aunt Tracie because I'm weird. No, she knows she's adopted. I asked her. She accepted. We're good. Okay. Anyways, so yes, so I did read this one. This one is about May, and she is half Japanese and half American. And in these books, we're following them as they are brownie girls for the I know it's Washington, Seattle, Alaska, Yukon Pacific Expedition. That's hard to say. But we're following them. They're brownie girls who take pictures throughout the fair, and then they come and they get them developed and sent to the tourists. And so she is actually doing the pictures where she paints the pictures. So they're not black and white anymore, which I think is really cool. It's kind of the first hints of colored photography. And so we're following her, and she used to have a best friend who something happened where his mother just all of a sudden says, I don't want to be in this neighborhood with people who aren't of our culture. And so he has to leave. And so they haven't spoken for years, but they finally meet up again at the expo, and things happen. Obviously, there's a little bit of romance and stuff, and it's just really cute. There's definitely a little bit of mystery going on, and I love the mystery aspects. It's Tracie Peterson's books are a good mix of mystery and romance and historical fiction, and it's just really great. So yeah, I have a whole review of this book too. So I read the second book in the Secrets of Sweetwater Crossing by Amanda Cabot. I have reviews for both of these books on my channel, but this is the second book, and I gave it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. But this series is really good, and I think these are my first book by Amanda Cabot. We had quite a few new authors this month, but I love this one. It was so good. So this one, we're following the sister from the first book, and she kind of had an outing with her sister, and she left. And so she wants to become a doctor. And somehow she finds herself back in her hometown. And there's a nice reconciliation really quickly in the book. So I did like that. But we're following her as she goes back, and she ends up somehow getting hold of a building where she can practice medicine. Although, of course, nobody wants her to because she's a woman back in historical times. But we're seeing her trying her best, and she starts off kind of as a midwife, and the woman kind of starts trusting her. But something happens where she gets these threatening messages, and people are trying to get her out of town. She's trying to figure out why. So it was good mystery. I can't remember if I guessed who did it. I don't think I guessed who did it. So it was a good surprise ending for me. So then I also read The Legacy of Longdale Manor by Carrie Turansky. This is my third book by the author, I think. And I enjoyed it. It was good. This is a dual timeline, 2012 and 1912. And we're following a girl named Gwen, who is a art historian, and she kind of gets that last chance job where she failed a job at her, I think it's her grandfather's art antique auction place. And so she accidentally did something, and so he's like, this is kind of your last chance. We're gonna send you off to one of my friends who lives in this small town in England. She has some antiques that I want you to appraise. So she goes there, and she finds a lot of hidden secrets, a lot of family mysteries that might connect her and this woman's family. And so it was good. It's a lot of family secrets, a little bit of mystery going on. Yeah, so it was good, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars if I didn't say. And then the last book that well, these aren't in order of what I read them, but the last book I have is To Spark a Match by Jen Turano. This is the second book in the Matchmakers, and I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it. This is actually my first series by Jen Turano I ever read, and definitely won't be the last. I really love her writing. I think she's fun. It's historical fiction mixed with humor, and this one had a little bit of mystery going on, which, you know me, spy missions and historical fiction are like my buzzwords mixed together. Such a good match. So in this one, we're following Adelaide, and Adelaide was the character in the first book that I wanted a story for so bad. I'm so happy she got one. So in this one, we're following her as she's kind of been the klutz of society, so to speak. She's been in too many accidents, so she's kind of ousted by society. But she ends up helping this man who she figures out is a spy. And so he's like, I have to help her. Not necessarily get a match in society, but just to be integrated back into society and not be outcasted anymore. So he hires a matchmaker, not to matchmake her, but to just help her get back into society and not have so many problems with her klutziness. So the matchmaker kind of makes her over, helps her out a little bit, and a little bit of romance along the way ensues. So a little bit of a spy mission, historical fiction, romance, humor. Yeah, I thought it was a great match, and I really, really enjoyed it, and you should definitely check out the series. So anyway, so those are the books that I read. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you thought about them, if you liked them, didn't like them. Let's just talk down in the comments below. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Let me know what your favorite read was of December, or like what was your last read of the year. I don't even remember what my last read was. Actually, I do know. I do know which one it was. It was this one. Winter by the Sea by Julie Klassen. I did finish it like on the 1st or something, but I counted it because the majority was read in December. So that was the last book I read in 2023. All right, so I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.